Ever feel like the world of tech is like, whoa, just in constant hyperspeed?
Yeah.
Well, today we're going on a deep dive into this huge EE announcement from Apple.
Right.
It really shows some fascinating trends, like where technology is going and what it means for America's future.
Yes, absolutely. It's really remarkable. We're going to be looking at Apple's press release
Okay.
from February 24th, 2025. And in this press release, they're committing to a truly staggering investment, like $500 billion
Oh,
poured into the U.S. over the next 4 years.
$500 billion.
Yeah.
I mean, wow, that's not just like spare change they found under the couch cushions.
Right.
It definitely grabs your attention.
It's a bold statement for sure about their belief in American innovation and their confidence in the U.S. economy's ability to lead in all these different fields, like artificial intelligence, silicon engineering, and advanced manufacturing.
So what does this actually look like on the ground? Like, what are some of the key things they're planning to do with all that money?
Well, for starters, they're opening a brand new advanced manufacturing facility in Houston, Texas.
Okay.
And this isn't just any facility. It's going to be producing the servers that are the backbone of Apple Intelligence,
Okay.
their personal AI system.
Hold on. Apple Intelligence. Just to catch everyone up, that's their AI assistant, right?
Yeah. Except
But-
for like, well, you know,
Yeah.
like the others.
It helps you manage your digital life, from scheduling appointments to controlling your smart home devices. And up until now, all those servers powering this system were actually manufactured outside the U.S. So this is a big shift.
Oh, wow. So instead of made in China, we're going to start seeing made in Texas on our AI servers.
It certainly seems that way, yeah. And this move suggests that Apple is prioritizing control over its AI infrastructure, perhaps due to growing concerns over data security and intellectual property protection.
Yeah. You know, that makes a lot of sense. We hear so much these days about the importance of data security and keeping sensitive information safe.
Bringing that manufacturing back to the U.S. could give them a much tighter grip on that whole process.
Yeah. It also potentially cuts down on transportation costs and lead times, allowing them to respond more quickly to changes in demand or technology. It's a fascinating development that could signal a larger trend of tech companies reevaluating their global manufacturing strategies.
And it's not just about the servers themselves. Apple is also doubling their U.S. Advanced Manufacturing Fund, boosting it to a mind-blowing $10 billion.
Right.
I mean, come on, that's serious money.
It is. It's a serious chunk of change.
Yeah.
This fund isn't just about Apple, though.
Right.
It's about supporting all these American companies and workers who are pushing the boundaries of manufacturing, investing in cutting-edge materials and innovative production processes.
Okay, so they're basically spreading the wealth, helping other companies get in on the action, and pushing for advancements across the board.
Precisely. Think of it as nurturing an entire ecosystem of American manufacturing, going way beyond just those iconic devices we all know and love.
But they're not stopping there, right? They're also putting a lot of emphasis on training the next generation of tech talent.
Mm-hmm.
What's the story with this manufacturing academy they're opening in Detroit?
This is where Apple's vision for the future of American manufacturing really takes center stage. They're offering free courses and training programs in areas like AI and smart manufacturing, not just to their employees, by the way, but to anyone who wants to learn.
Wow. Free training. That's pretty incredible. So they're basically saying, hey, if you're willing to put in the work, we'll give you the tools to succeed in this industry.
Yes, and they're not just throwing together some basic online courses either. They're partnering with prestigious institutions like Michigan State University to ensure that the curriculum is top-notch and relevant to the evolving demands of the industry.
Wow.
They're essentially democratizing access to advanced manufacturing knowledge and skills.
Now, speaking of manufacturing, there's been a lot of talk about Apple's involvement with TSMC, that major chip manufacturer,
Right.
and their facility in Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
What's the deal with that?
Right. Well, TSMC's Fab 21 facility in Arizona is now churning out those powerful Apple silicon chips, and Apple is heavily invested in this operation, which is just one of 24 silicon manufacturing facilities they're working with across 12 states.
So Silicon Valley might need to start watching its back.
Maybe not quite yet, but it does demonstrate a clear commitment to diversifying their supply chain and tapping into these skilled talent pools across the country. It's fascinating to see how this is reshaping the geography of tech innovation.
Okay, we've got new factories, billions flowing into cutting-edge technologies and workforce training. It's starting to paint a picture of a pretty ambitious vision. But there's another piece to this puzzle, right? What about the research and development side of things?
Absolutely. Apple isn't just content with building things. They really want to be at the forefront of innovation, pushing the boundaries of what technology can even do. And that's where their massive investment in R&D comes in. They're planning to hire 20,000 more people
Whoa,
focused on just R&D over the next few years.
20,000 people.
It's a clear sign they're not resting on their laurels.
That's like the population of a small town.
Yeah,
Dedicated to just R&D.
pretty much.
So where are they focusing all this brain power?
They're doubling down on key areas like silicon engineering, software development, and of course, AI.
Right.
They're even going so far as to design their own cellular modem,
Really?
the Apple C1,
Oh.
which indicates this desire for even greater control over the core components of their devices.
So it's not just about making the chips here, it's about owning the entire design process.
Precisely. This vertical integration allows them to optimize each component specifically for their products, potentially leading to better performance, efficiency, and faster innovation cycles. It does raise questions about potential downsides, though, like decreased competition and the possibility of higher prices for consumers.
Yeah, that's a good point. It'll be interesting to see how this all plays out in the long run. But let's go back to that Houston facility for a second.
Right.
It's going to be churning out those powerful servers for Apple Intelligence.
Right.
And we were just talking about AI as a major focus for Apple's R&D.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a connection there?
That's a sharp observation. And yes, there's definitely a connection. Remember, these aren't just any servers. They're the brains behind Apple's AI assistant, which they're constantly improving and expanding. By manufacturing these servers domestically, Apple may be aiming to kind of accelerate their AI development and keep sensitive data closer to home.
So maybe part of this shift is about ensuring that the U.S. remains competitive in the global AI race.
It's certainly a possibility. After all, AI is rapidly becoming one of the most important technologies of the 21st century, with far-reaching implications for, everything.
Yeah.
From healthcare to transportation to national security.
Absolutely.
Apple's investments suggest they're not going to let the U.S. fall behind in this critical area.
But it's not just about hardware and infrastructure, right? Apple is also pouring resources into software development, specifically when it comes to Apple Intelligence.
Absolutely. They're constantly working to make Apple Intelligence more intuitive, more helpful, integrating it more deeply into their ecosystem of devices and services. With the recent expansion of Apple Intelligence to more languages and regions, it's clear they see it as a key differentiator in the market.
So is this all leading to a future where our devices anticipate our needs before we even know them ourselves, thanks to the power of AI?
Well, that's certainly the direction things seem to be heading. Apple's vision appears to be a future where your devices work together seamlessly, powered by intelligent software and cutting-edge hardware. But it also raises all these ethical questions about data privacy, algorithmic bias, and the potential for AI to be misused.
Right, we can't just blindly embrace these advancements without considering the potential consequences. But getting back to the more immediate impact, this commitment from Apple is creating this ripple effect, especially for people who are looking to break into the tech industry. How does this affect them?
Well, all of this investment translates to a more robust and resilient tech sector in the U.S., opening up a wider range of opportunities for skilled workers. Whether it's in manufacturing, software development, AI research, or any of the countless supporting roles, there's a growing demand for people with the right skills.
So if you're someone who's always been fascinated by tech, this is the time to jump in, right? I mean, there's a real need for talented individuals, and Apple is investing heavily in training and development.
Exactly. Apple's commitment to training the next generation through programs like the Manufacturing Academy, shows that they're not just looking for experienced professionals. They're actively cultivating a pipeline of talent to drive innovation for years to come.
And with their focus on advanced manufacturing and cutting-edge technologies like AI, it seems like they're preparing people for the jobs of the future, not just the jobs of today.
That's a really important point. The skills needed to thrive in this rapidly evolving tech landscape are constantly changing. So a company like Apple investing in workforce development is not just beneficial for them, it's beneficial for the entire country.
It's fascinating how this conversation has gone from dissecting a press release to this broader discussion about the future of American innovation. But before we get too carried away, we should probably delve a bit deeper into Apple's motivations for all of this. Okay, so we've talked about the what of Apple's big announcement, the factories, the investments, the training programs. But I'm really curious about the why. What's driving this commitment to the U.S.? Is it purely about business, or are there other factors at play here?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And I don't think there's a single simple answer. It's likely a combination of factors.
Yeah.
On the business side, it makes sense for Apple to want to diversify their supply chain, reduce their reliance on overseas manufacturing, especially in light of all the recent global events. We've seen how geopolitical tensions and disruptions can really impact production and lead times. So bringing some of that manufacturing back home, it gives them more control, more stability.
Right, it's like they're hedging their bets, making sure they're not putting all their eggs in one basket.
Exactly. And then there's potential PR benefit.
Oh, right.
In today's world, consumers are increasingly interested in the ethical and environmental implications of the products they buy.
Yeah.
So by showcasing their commitment to American jobs in manufacturing, Apple can appeal to those values and strengthen their brand image.
So it's not just about making a profit, it's about shaping public perception as well.
Absolutely. And let's not forget the potential role of government incentives.
Right, yeah.
Many countries, including the U.S., are actively encouraging companies to bring manufacturing back home.
Yeah.
Through tax breaks and subsidies and other programs, these incentives can make a significant difference in a company's decision-making process.
It sounds like there's this whole web of economic and political factors intertwined here.
Yeah.
It's not just as simple as Apple saying, we like America, so we're going to invest here.
It's much more nuanced than that. It's about navigating this complex global landscape where business decisions are influenced by everything, from supply chain logistics to geopolitical considerations to public sentiment. And in this case, it seems like those factors have aligned in a way that makes investing in the U.S. a strategic win for Apple on multiple levels.
So what does this all mean for the average person? The everyday consumer who might not be following the intricacies of global supply chains and corporate strategy, how does this affect them?
Well, for one thing, it could mean more job opportunities
Right.
and a stronger U.S. economy. A thriving tech sector creates these ripple effects throughout the entire economy, leading to growth in other industries and potentially higher wages for workers.
And on a more tangible level, it could also mean faster access to the latest and greatest Apple products. If those products are being manufactured closer to home, it could potentially reduce shipping times and maybe even make them more affordable if those savings are passed on to consumers.
Those are all possibilities, yeah. And it'll be interesting to see how things unfold over the next few years. But beyond the immediate economic impact, I think there's this larger message here about the enduring power of American innovation.
What do you mean?
Despite all the challenges the U.S. has faced in recent years, Apple's investment is a vote of confidence in the country's ability to remain a leader in the global tech landscape. It's a reminder that the U.S. still has the talent, the infrastructure, and the entrepreneurial spirit to drive innovation and shape the future of technology.
That's a pretty inspiring thought. It's like a shot in the arm for American ingenuity. A sign that the U.S. can still compete on the world stage and be a driving force in shaping the future.
Exactly. And that's something that should resonate with everyone, regardless of whether they're an Apple fan or not. It's about the potential for progress, for creating a brighter future through technological advancements.
So what's the takeaway for our listeners today? What should they be thinking about after this deep dive?
Well, first and foremost, it's a reminder that the world of tech is constantly evolving, and staying informed is crucial. Don't just consume the latest gadgets. Understand the forces that are shaping their creation and the implications for society as a whole.
And maybe, just maybe, this conversation will spark an idea or ignite a passion in someone listening, leading them to become the next great innovator. Who knows, the next Steve Jobs could be out there right now, inspired by this very deep dive.
Wouldn't that be something? And that, my friends, is what the deep dive is all about. Exploring the hidden depths of seemingly simple things and uncovering the connections that make the world tick. We hope you've enjoyed the journey.
And as always, we want to hear from you. What are your thoughts on Apple's big announcement? What do you think it means for the future of tech and for the U.S.'s role in that future? Join the conversation on our social media channels, and let's keep this dialogue going. Until next time.